Namaskar, welcome to Honest Astrologer YouTube channel, and today we are going to talk about Ketu Rahu axis placement, Ketu in the first and Rahu in the seventh. I have Divya with me to discuss this one. Welcome, Divya.
Thank you, sir. This is one of my favorite ones, and I'm so happy you actually decided to and agreed to do this because I feel Ketu in the first and Rahu in the seventh it's a very interesting placement, and a lot of people really misunderstand or rather don't understand Ketu in the first. So please help us sail through, what's the first house about for starters, and what does Ketu do there?
So, first house is the throne of the chart. First house is Singhasan. Whichever planet sits in the first house will have maximum impact, particularly on your looks and personality. First house is how your body, your thought, your mind, and things like that would work. First house is what people see in you. So any planet in the first house is out there to be observed by everybody. Okay. If you want to see how a planet looks in real life, you look at the person with that particular planet in the first house. Basharte akela ho. Okay. So whenever some other planet sits with it, wo chemistry pura badal jata. I'll give you an example. Shani in the first will be very nerdy, surreal, weaker types. Okay. Shani Mangal together would be a Pahalwan. Okay, so you need to keep that in mind. So, Venus in the first would be very pretty, right? Similarly. And you develop habits of that planet. Coming to Ketu, Ketu is a very paradoxical planet, and it is extremely paradoxical in 1/7. Okay. देखो, Ketu knows कि I am a torso without a head. So, सबसे पहले तो इनकी हाइट छोटी होती हो, आधा फुट तो ये चला गया. Rahu people, you'll find them very tall and lean. Ketu people are short, sweet and fat. उसके बाद में राहु पे आप डाना वीडियो, राहु का ही बिल्कुल अपोजिट होता है. राहु पीपल आर वेरी एरोगेंट, बट दे हैव दिस फ्राउन ऑन देयर फेस और हर एक बात में नाराज हैं. केतु पीपल आर वेरी स्वीट एंड काम. अरे क्या हो गया यार, ठीक है चल. केतु पीपल हैव वेरी स्ट्रांग नोजेस. अक्सर थोड़ी चौड़ी नाक होती है, एंड दे हैव अ वेरी स्ट्रांग सेंस ऑफ स्मेल. Then they put on fat like this. राहु को आप पूरी कढ़ाई खिला दो, उसका 1 सेंटीमीटर नहीं बढ़ना. केतु बेचारा हवा खाए उसको लग जाती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल नुसरत फतेह अली खान, स्वीट गाय, नाइस मैन, बट वो पहाड़ हो गया. देन इनकी आंखें हमेशा छोटी छोटी स्वीट सी होती है. राहु की भी छोटी आंखें होती है, बट दे आर वेरी पियर्सिंग. केतु की आंखें बड़ी स्वीट सी थोड़ी छोटी होती है. इट्स ऑलवेज सम सॉर्ट ऑफ स्मॉल आईज, बट दे लुक वेरी स्वीट. केतु पीपल लुक वेरी स्वीट. यू वांट टू डू गुजी गुजी टू देम. और थोड़े से चीक्स वगैरह इनके थोड़े प्रोट्रूटेड होते हैं. केतु इन द फर्स्ट, आई हैव सीन इन चार्ट्स ऑफ सम वेरी ग्रेट पीपल. लॉर्ड कृष्णा हैड केतु इन द फर्स्ट. वाज वेरी गुड लुकिंग गाय, probably not very tall. Arjun was taller.
Combination of Moon and Ketu.
Yeah, he was a mix of Moon and Ketu. Akbar had a first house Ketu, although he had Venus, Moon and Ketu. These people, they make friends like this because Ketu doesn't have a big ego. अगर राहु को तो साबित करना, ओए मैं बादशाह हूं, यहाँ का सलाम कैसे नहीं करोगे, एवरीथिंग इज अबाउट मी. केतु को हाँ भाई आप ठीक हो, आपका बढ़िया चल रहा है, आप कैसे. केतु आप. राहु मैं. केतु इन द फर्स्ट, आई हैव सीन कुछ ना कुछ बीमारी रहता है इन लोगों. बिकॉज केतु इज नॉट बॉडी कॉन्शियस. राहु बाहर जाएगा कंगी वंगी करके बिल्कुल टिप टॉप होके जाएगा. ये मलंग होते हैं, पजामा पहन कहीं निकल लेंगे. उसके बाद में एक ट्रेजेडी और पैराडॉक्स है यहाँ पे केतु का. दे आर इन लव विद लव. अब ये क्यों होता है, आई डोंट हैव अ रेडी आंसर फॉर इट, बिकॉज केतु इज सपोज्ड टू बी डिटैच्ड, बट ये बचपन से आशिकाना मिजाज होते हैं. Only explanation I could have is that they seek completion,
Yeah.
Rahu owns the world. Ketu wants Rahu. मेरा seventh house is your partner, people
Yeah.
you deal with, your husband, your wife, all that. So ये बचपन से इन पे जो है ना थोड़ा आशिकाना विचार रहते हैं एंड दीज पीपल आर सो इजी टू फॉल इन लव विद. वो ये 13-14 साल की उम्र से बैटिंग शुरू कर देते. दे आर वेरी डाई हार्ड रोमांटिक्स, वेरी डाई हार्ड रोमांटिक्स. अगर केतु इन द फर्स्ट रिलेशनशिप में नहीं है उसको लगता है यार मैं अधूरा हूं. And they make very good friends with Sun in the first and Rahu in the first. You will typically find Ketu first people marrying Rahu first people. It often happens. They often fall in love with Rahu first. ये ड्रामा है. केतु सन कॉम्बो मैंने बहुत देखा मैरिंग राहु सन कॉम्बो फॉर सम रीजन. So similarly, Ketu in the first, they typically get into love with Rahu at the first because Rahu को यूं लगता है साहब मैं, केतु कहता जी आप, तो वो थोड़ी दास भाव की भक्ति हो जाती है इनकी. So that's their tragedy. Okay, क्या है ये डरते नहीं है. Okay. You might think it's a pushover. ये तो आप करता रहता है, but Ketu is no Chandrama. When it comes to fighting it out, these people can hold their own. एक बार इनको गुस्सा आया तो जैन मुनि का नागा साधु बनेगा, वो त्रिशूल उठा के पीछे दौड़ेगा. So that's that's the other side of Ketu, which very few people know. उसके बाद में मैंने देखा है इनकी they have a fascination for everything foreign, foreign lands, especially foreign spouse. Most of the mixed marriages you will find Ketu in the first people. Intercaste तो कर ही लेते हैं.
No, one thing that comes to my mind and a personal observation is ki Ketu in the first house, because it has no head. They're very confused people. Their decision making is not very great. तो वो हमेशा they're always lost.
हाँ, ये थोड़ा सा रहता है.
Crisis.
If your moon or Mercury is a little damaged, Ketu worries a little कि मेरे से गलती नहीं हो जाए. राहु तो बोलता है मैंने गलत किया तो भी वो सही है, तो मान कैसे नहीं माने. केतु लाइक यार मैं ठीक तो कर रहा हूँ. एंड देन केतु पीपल कैन बी अ लिटिल मैनिपुलेटिव. ओके, दिस अगेन इज वेरी रेयर थिंग जो सिर्फ फर्स्ट हाउस में मैंने देखा. नोवेयर एल्स केतु मैनिपुलेट्स बिकॉज दे आर सो फोकस्ड ऑन द अदर पर्सन. उसका पूरा एनालिसिस कर डालते, धागे बिखेर देते. Times these guys can be masters of the others.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think the seventh makes them very obsessed about the seventh house. So much confusion that they see themselves through the eyes of the partner.
Yes, good.
In a way, yeah.
राहु का ये मैं हूँ, पार्टनर एग्जिस्ट क्यों करता हूँ, मेरी सेवा करने के लिए. केतु लाइक मैं एग्जिस्ट करता हूँ इनकी सेवा करने. They are very easy to get along with, but they can be a tad manipulative. क्योंकि ये सामने वाले को इतना जबरदस्त रिसर्च एनालिसिस करते हैं, इनके पास सबके धागे होते हैं. So if they have some negative impact, especially on Sun or Mercury, they can be dangerous people.
Okay.
But more often than not, it is Rahu who is dangerous. Ketu is a sweetheart. Ketu is sweet.
Are they also very spiritual, religious sort of people? First house?
Not necessarily. They are detached for sure. Okay. They would typically not call up their friends every week and do all that. That is everything that Mercury does. But yes, they have a little detached bent of mind. Again, a lot depends on the 9th house and Jupiter placement and things like that. But yes, they are detached. They wouldn't be so involved in themselves or their friends or everything. Only exception is the husband or wife.
Okay, so if you were to give 3 pros and cons of Ketu in the first, 3 strengths and weaknesses of Ketu in the first, what would that be?
First strength, very friendly people. They can make friends like this.
Okay.
You have to make friends with even Rahu people. They make friends with Rahu people. Nobody gets along. It's only Ketu first people who are getting along with Rahu first people. Okay. Second thing, they have no big ego. These guys can often play peacemakers.
Okay.
Maybe लड़ाई झगड़ा हो रहा है, सीटी लेके पहुंच जाते हैं, क्यों कर रहे हैं. They like to establish peace. They like to put an end to friction, and they would often go out and say, okay, I'm sorry. भले से उनका फॉल्ट नहीं हो। राहु सॉरी नहीं बोलेगा, उसके बोटियां नोच लो, आप सॉरी नहीं बोले। केतु विल से सॉरी अगर उसका गलती भी नहीं। थर्ड थिंग, दे आर वेरी गुड एट एनालाइजिंग अदर पीपल। राहु आ गया ना, so they have a good intuition. This is what I say.
Yeah, good intuition for sure. Yeah.
They might not be geniuses until unless Mercury does some wonders.
Yeah.
But they are very intuitive. You know, they
Yeah,
can sense कि ये होने वाला है या ये नहीं करना चाहिए. This person is good, this person is bad. So they have very strong sense of intuition, and they are content. They don't have to, prove it to the world. Rahu has to prove it to the world.
Yeah, but 1 in 7 axis makes it a little difficult because internal versus external, there's always that war.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you think are the worst impacts of having Ketu in the first house?
पहली चीज, you can become a virtual slave to your spouse.
Yeah.
If you marry an egomaniac, Rahu Sun in the first type, किसी से शादी कर लिया, then you are in soup. Second thing, they typically बचपन से आशिकाना मिजाज, until unless they don't have a partner, they don't feel good. So that longing for completion, that can put them into very dangerous kind of relationships where the other person can use and abuse them. Third thing, I have seen they have difficulty getting children. Fifth aspect आ जाता है, and something with the father goes wrong क्योंकि उधर ninth aspect है. So although they are spiritual people, ninth aspect on the ninth house will make you spiritual. They can, you will find these guys in Rishikeshes and Mathuras and Vrindavans of the world. Rahu people you will find in Delhi and Los Angeles and stuff. But Ketu people, they will typically visit these dharmasthans and everything. And especially with 9-1 axis become so purified by Ketu that they are often driven to things like dharmasthans and mandirs and all. But their father at least get hammered once in life. Yeah. Something will go wrong with their father. And with birth of the first child, thoda delay denial hota. A lot depends on the partner's child.
So how would you, so let's learn a little bit more about the Rahu Ketu axis, because when Ketu is in the first, Rahu is in the seventh, as we know they're 7 houses apart. And first is your own house, which is you, your personality. And seventh is also a very important position in our life because that's your partnership, that's your work, that's everything outside of you. So I feel there's a tug of war, like internal versus external.
देखो, राहु केतु एक्सेस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. मतलब उसके एक तरफ प्लैनेट्स इकट्ठे हो गए तो इट बिकम्स कालसर्प. सो केतु इज वेयर यू विल बाउ आउट इन लाइफ कि भाई हो गया इस खाने में. एंड राहु इज वेयर यू विल चेज फॉर द रेस्ट ऑफ योर लाइफ कि इस खाने में और खुदाई करना. सो केतु इन द फर्स्ट कैन बिकम टू मच अबाउट द अदर पर्सन एंड नॉट इनफ अबाउट देम. So you have to actually teach these guys कि भैया थोड़ा सा stand up with you.
In simple words. So lack of self-worth and love, right?
Yes. So they can become slaves to their spouses. But typically intercaste marriage, everything foreign will fascinate them. अपने culture से थोड़ा bored feel करते हैं. So it's not a bad placement necessarily, but yes, it's a difficult one.
So how should they, like, so Rahu in the 7th makes them very obsessive about everything that's the 7th house, which is your partnerships, love partnerships, spouse, business partnerships. And Ketu doesn't like any of it. And Ketu in the first is all internal, all about you, about letting go. Yeah. So they're always in this flux.
So वो रस्सा कशी चलती है, टग ऑफ वॉर की रस्सी आपके लाइफ का, केतु एंड राहु. Wherever these two sit, all your adventures will happen in the house of Ketu, Rahu, and Shani. All your adventures would happen in these 3 houses.
So, for
example, and misadventures.
Give us some examples. How lives of people with Ketu in the first and Rahu in the 7th go along?
Okay. First thing, they are, they will never shine in a group until unless they have a very strong sun or. So they are very happy to be a part of the crowd. Individualism itna hota nahi hai. Okay. They'll happily sacrifice themselves for the benefit of the greater good. Very humanistic people. They'll very happily get along with everybody. The problem is they can go to such a point that they can be used and abused, which I've already said. Second thing, this uh, fascination with other. Okay, the other can be other person, other gender even. So a lot of mindless sexuality can also happen with Ketu in the first. They are willing to do anything for the partner. That also happens. But Ketu in the first, they want to lose them. Now, as long as you are alive, you can't lose the body. So they try to lose themselves in something else. Could be some other person, some affair, or some drug. So, but usually I've seen that if they stay in nature and they get a lot of alone time, they do well. Inka, their problem springs from their relationships. The biggest advice to these guys which I give in relationship, have a backbone. Don't take shit from the partner. Second thing, don't run after anybody. जो तुम्हारे नसीब में है आएगा. A little spirituality and being in communion with nature would do wonders for these people. Yeah. If they get a lot of alone time, meditative time, and one person cannot complete other person. This is what I've learned.
Yeah. So that's something Ketu in the first need to learn, that they are enough.
Yeah. So you complete yourself. There are souls which are compatible with you, but that completion comes only from. So your soul has to merge with the universe, only then you are complete. So one drop cannot be completed with the other drop. The drop has to go to the ocean.
So it's also said that Ketu is tasks that have been completed in your past life, wherever Ketu is. And Rahu, because it's so obsessive, it is something you're still going to pursue in your current life. It's unfinished karma from last.
They say that, and I partially agree. Okay. I have a different theory there.
Okay.
My theory is you abuse the khana of Ketu in past life. Yeah. So in past life, let's say you are a rich man and you abuse your Lakshmi. You can be born with Ketu in the second.
And I was just coming. So Ketu in the first, what does it imply with your past?
You are very pretty and sexy in the past life and you abused your body. Okay, you abused the other people. Maybe you had Rahu, Sun, Venus in the first. So you were a dangerous but delicious personality. You broke a lot of hearts. So this time you are Ketu in the first or a Ketu Shukra. So you pay for it. Ketu makes you pay.
Yeah, Ketu makes you pay for the.
Wherever Ketu sets, he is not going to let you make a great deal in that house, barring the 9th and 12th.
So you have to learn the lessons the very hard way, like again and again until you actually learn the lesson.
The biggest thing is to own up to it. Okay, I might not remember it, but whatever the evidence is, I think I must have done something wrong and I'm sorry. I'll try to make the best of it. More charitable you are with the Ketu ka khana, the better things go.
So when Ketu is in your house of your own self, your own personality, how do we? I found it very hard to understand. What does this mean?
It shows that you have used and abused your body to unwholesome gains in past lives. Maybe you were very pretty, maybe you were very powerful, and you never cared about other people. This time nature is going to make you care about other people. The choice that you have, Divya, is what kind of people you want to care for.
Yeah.
Do you want to care for only a sexual partner, or do you want to go out and help those who really need you? Because 7th house is just not your wife. If you are talking to somebody or interacting with somebody, that's your 7th house.
Yeah.
So people with moon in the 7th or Rahu in the 7th, they have this, up thing. And you'll find these guys a lot in HR positions in company or people caring positions or running orphanages and NGOs. So you care about humanity as a whole, you care about people as a whole. So that is how you choose. You choose to focus on the right kind of.
Okay, that's very interesting. Lots of insights into Ketu in the first. Um, Anything you want to mention from any of your mentors or somebody you really like who has something special to say about Ketu in the first?
The only person, after my father, okay, Linda Goodman, I owe her that initial depth of writing that book, which started my interest. My father was my first guru. The only other guy whom I keep like really, really here, there are people I respect. Okay, there is Dharmesh Mehta sahab, there is E.K. Dilip Kumar sahab, there is Liz Green, excellent astrologer. But the one I worship is Parash Trivedi.
Yeah, I know.
And I've been lucky enough to get his blessings once or twice, and we are still in touch. We to kya yaar, I just keep texting him, and I get his blessings on auspicious days. So Parash Trivedi was somebody who said, "Look, Ketu is divine." Okay. Ketu को आप malefic कैसे कह सकते हो when he is the one who is going to liberate you from the Mrityuloka. Shani Rahu will keep you on the cycle.
Yeah.
Ana jana, avagaman. It is Ketu who is going to break the jail and take you to better lokas. So Ketu, what Ketu gives, nobody else can give. That is why Ketu is the biggest auspicious. And I totally agree.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's just how you view it, glass half empty, half full. So if you adapt to the Ketu traits, then I think you can really make very good use of Ketu in your chart.
Dekho, nobody can use Ketu. You can align with Ketu. You can follow.
Yeah.
मैं जब ये केतु पे आर्टिकल लिख रहा था, I started with a headache saying managing Ketu. फिर मैंने कहा नहीं, management is a very Shani Mercury concept. It has to be embracing Ketu.
Ketu.
So wherever Ketu sets, bow out of that house.
Yeah.
Okay. And remember the lessons and accept that you must have done something wrong with Ketu, with that house in past life. And this time try to make the most of it. For example, first in Ketu, Divya, a very good sattvic diet will do wonders.
Yeah, I was just coming to what are the remedies. How do you not manage, how do you embrace Ketu better in the first house?
Treating your body like a dharmasthan would be great.
Okay.
Don't let every Tom, Dick and Harry access your body if you are a male or a female. Second thing, a lot of sattvic bhojan would be great. Juices, fruits, shakahar, garisht bhojan and all you shouldn't do. A lot of sweets you should. Because एक तो वो टोन बढ़ा देगा. Okay. Plus ये बीमारियां लाता है. I've seen this. Particularly diabetes खूब देता first or second. Second thing, treat your head as a sacred space. टीका विका कुछ लगाओ, particularly चंदन का, because चंदन is guru का, so Ketu calm down. Take good amount of sleep. Ketu in first needs lot of sleep, beauty sleep. इधर कम ऑक्सीजन जा रहा है. And instead of longing for a person, long for the Paramatma. So you can care and love your family, your spouse and everything, but ultimate goal should be Paramatma. One person cannot make you happy. Ketu in the first, एक दो heartbreaks देखे हैं मैंने. So they get this lesson कि आदमी के पीछे घूमने वाला नहीं.
Absolutely, I agree.
So you treat your body as a temple. You treat your head as the sanctum sanctorum. You try to focus on the right kind of people. And yes, since your ninth house is also aspected, visit these ashrams and all the Rishikeshis, Haridwars of the world. That will be very, very good for you.
So Ketu in the first will be, in my personal experience, I feel that once you learn the lesson or once you realize that Rahu's obsession with the seventh, and if you don't give in to that obsession, and you rather work on yourself spiritually, it comes very easy to people with Ketu in the first. So so they learn spiritually, like spiritual and religious things, very, very fast. They actually experience them faster and enjoy it.
So Ketu, if you look at it, he's a blessing. Mera to favorite planet hai.
Yeah.
The kind of fun I had in Ketu Mahadasha, I did not have in Mercury, and Shukra bhi shuru hua hai. But that kind of happiness which you have, दाढ़ी बड़ी हुई, बाल बिखरे हुए, सिर में दर्द है, बीवी लड़ी हुई है, but still you feel so blissed out inside. You feel so blissed out. That bliss I miss.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to live a Ketu Mahadasha. So for now, I'm pretty happy about it.
Yeah.
Definitely embracing these tips under the Antardashas. And
Yeah. One last tip: you can also feed ants. Feeding ants is very good for Ketu.
And why is that?
Okay. Ant lives underground.
Mm.
Ketu is a planet of underground. Lizards are ruled by Ketu.
Mm.
And feeding ants is so great. Okay, देखो, nature is beautiful. जो सबसे छोटा बच्चा होगा ना नेचर का, नेचर विल गिव हिम द मैक्सिमम सिक्योरिटी, है ना? You must have heard, don't kill ants.
Yeah.
Because ant is like the सबसे छोटा thing you can observe on dry land. Ants are provided security by Shani, Rahu, Ketu and Mangal. All four. जो सबसे छोटा बच्चा उसको सबसे ज्यादा सिक्योरिटी देता है नेचर. दैट इज व्हाई दे से अनाथों को नहीं सताओ, विधवाओं को नहीं सताओ, गरीबों को नहीं सताओ, अपाहिजों को नहीं सताओ. All handicaps are protected by Ketu. Donating to a handicapped person or a handicapped ashram is a great remedy for Ketu.
Okay.
So feeding ants, donating to amputees, donating to people with physical disabilities, helping these people is a very good Ketu remedy.
Okay. Perfect. So this was very interesting. Lots about Ketu, which I feel we don't have enough information about this very mysterious, interesting shadow planet. Thank you, sir, so much for your time.
Namaskar.